Yield and save me some time.
Any last words?
Yield and save me some time. Hardly a chance. 全ては私の手のひらの。Stand down. Hardly a chance. Hardly a chance. Stand down. Willing to accept defeat.
Hey folks, how are things going? After Geralt, I guess it's time to go take a look at the free character for this collab, Ciri. Sadly, she doesn't seem like she will be showing up in the event story until the 4th part, but we get to see her a little bit early. Not to mention, she was sent to us in the mail, basically, as a nice free unit. She comes in as a fairly standard seeker, so she's got 5 movement base, and she has the same speed as Geralt, 152. She does have a little bit of a bonus though, because when we go check her trait, we find a plus 100 speed boost in here. So she starts off at 252. Fantastic. Also, this should be a basic boost, it's not a speed buff or anything. So if you have Tyr and you give her another plus 100 speed, she ends up at 352. On top of the extra plus 100 speed, at start of battle, she gains 1 extra energy. And for how hungry she is for it, this is very welcome. When she ends a turn on non-standby method, so basically using any skill, if she doesn't have Wing Repose, she gains the use of a Blink skill, up to 1 time per round. If she doesn't have Wing Repose, or if she hasn't used Blink this turn, she gets double the attack bonus from her physical attack trait. At 1 star, it's only 5%, but still, free stats, nothing to complain about. Wing Repose is a debuff that she gains after casting Blink. And Blink itself is a short-range teleport, at 1 star it's just 3 tiles, that also gives her a re-attack. Sadly, the duration of Wing Repose is 4 turns when she's low stars, but things eventually get a little bit better. At 2 stars we see the attack moves from 5 to 10%, while Blink's range increases by 1 and also gives her 1 energy back. 3 stars is the milestone at which we should be able to get her for free, and this increases the energy restoration by 1 extra from Blink, as well as giving her a 1 turn cooldown reduction. Most importantly, it also reduces the duration of Wing Repose from 4 turns down to 3. More extra turn, more extra energy. That's great. But sadly, an extra 2 energy isn't really going to be enough, and we'll see why later. Her first proper milestone, if you want to use her without any energy buffer, is going to be 4 stars. It increases her physical attack by 15%, Blink gives her 3 energy and a 2 cooldown reduction, and again, this is going to be bare minimum for her to combo 2 of her skills in 1 round. Lastly, 5 stars adds another tile to the Blink range, lets her restore all energy, not just 3, and gives her a full cooldown reduction. On top of this, it also reduces the wing response duration by 2 turns. So I'm a little bit afraid that in order to be able to properly play her, she kind of wants that 5 star. Again, extra turns are a little bit too strong of a mechanic to ignore, and letting her extra turns go from once every 3 turns to once every 2, that's going to be fairly important. Now, let's check her skills and see why that 3 energy gain is so important. Charge is her innate one, selects 1 location with a cross-shaped range of the character. She charges to that location, dealing 170% damage to the enemies closest to the endpoint, as well as inflicting stagger for 1 turn. Stagger, again, is just a 1 turn stun, but like Geralt, she also gains extra bonuses when attacking bound targets. 170% multiplier is also fairly high, but it's a little bit sad that this skill only deals damage to 1 target rather than the entire charge distance. As an auxiliary effect, after casting a basic attack, this basic attack also inflicts stagger on the target for 1 turn. Basic attacks are again mostly going to be used during downtime for her skills, and that downtime really shouldn't be all that high, especially once she reaches 3 to 4 stars. For her skill 3, we start with the Light that Breaks the Night, physical damage, 30% AoE damage to all enemies within 3 tiles of the character and inflicts stagger for 1 turn. 3 mana cost, 3 turn cooldown. But still, it's a nice AoE stun, and it also sets other enemies up to get extra damage from the stagger mechanics. One thing I don't particularly like is the fact that this should be your setup skill, and you may want to replace your charge with this one, which is going to eventually reduce Ciri's mobility by quite a bit. On the other side, Ciri's Candor increases her crit by 40%, and she makes it so she always lands a crit against bound targets, while also increasing damage dealt by 20%. This was my first Castalia, and you can see why. AoE stagger, followed up by an AoE attack with guaranteed crits and 20% extra damage. Kind of a no-brainer. Up to rank 3, we find Nova, 70% AoE damage to all enemies doing 3 tiles, as well as a 2 tiles knockback. When attacking targets with bound, the skill deals double damage and double knockback effects. If the character is in wing state at the start of the turn, so turn 2 and onwards, because first turn you don't get it, the attack with the skill treats all the targets as affected by bound by default. But that's also not the best part. The best part about Nova is that it has no skill cost. It can be used safely at the early stages of the game, and also whenever you want to give Ciri extra turns, be it with SP Nanna, be it with the attack command. On the other side, instead, Flash that Cuts Through Darkness, return cooldown, 4 energy cost. This is a bit too heavy, but still deals AoE damage to the closest 3 enemies within 4 tiles of the character. When hitting just one enemy, the damage multiplier is 120%. For each additional enemy hit, the multiplier decreases by 20% down to a minimum of 40. When attacking targets with bound, attack increases by 80%. We saw Geralt get like 40% extra attack before attacking, as well as a self buff for another 30%. This, right here, this is kind of crazy. Again, free 80% attack increase which stacks with everything else. This is kind of insane. The only problem is, again, the energy cost, so it's not really that feasible to try and use this skill at low star rating. When it comes to her reaction, we have the Fleeing Hair, where I don't think that many people care about this one, especially when it's paired with the Lion Cub of Sintra. After using her Blink skill, she gains 3 stacks of damage lock, equal to 50% of her max HP. After being attacked or using skills with teleportation or charge, she restores 40% of lost HP, and this effect can be triggered up to twice per round. That means she should be able to tank 3 attacks per turn, even if she overextends a little bit, so this is going to be kind of her default reaction. Up to rank 7, there's a little bit of a harder choice. Temporal Shift is a support skill, which after use, she gives her an extra energy at the end of the turn, as well as reducing the skill cooldowns by 1 turn. Reduces the wing response duration as well, but if Blink is used, the wing response duration doesn't change. As an auxiliary passive, after casting basic attack, it also re-triggers for free energy, free cooldown reduction, and wing response cooldown reduction, at least from turns 2 and onwards. If she's low star rating, turns 2, 3, and 4, if you use basic attacks, but again, I don't know about this one. Mostly because it's a support skill, it's not just a full passive. If you use it on turn 1, you basically waste your first attack turn and you don't inflict stagger on the enemies. If you use it from turns 2 to 4, you basically waste your entire turn, so this one might have just been a passive, didn't need to be a support skill. On the other side, we've got Homecoming Swallow. It's an instant cast that gives her the Nest Call effect. After a physical attack, speed -2 on the target for 2 turns, and after that action, she gets teleported to the closest ally within 5 tiles. She gets another 30% HP self-heal and 1 energy restoration. Again, great for longer fights, great to help her not overextend, but I get the feeling the 50% HP lock as well as the double 40% HP self-heal should be enough to keep her alive. Still, it would be a pretty decent tool for repositioning, and honestly, if I wasn't trying to rush things out and try and get her more energy and more turns, I think I would probably pick Homecoming Swallow before Temporal Shift. When it comes to her basic attacks, we've got the Fatal Attack with a 15% boost to crit damage, or a Feverish Attack with a 20% lifesteal. But then again, her reaction lets her heal, so 15% crit damage we go. Rank 11, I don't know what they did here. No legendary skills, no nothing. Looks like all the important stuff was down below. The Dimensional Traveler Leader aura honestly doesn't really matter, especially if you get Geralt. You will be running Geralt with the better leader skill. So whatever up here is fine. I don't think I'm going to use either. To close things off, we have the Ascension skill, Lady of Time and Space. The non-first skill used each round has its damage increased by 10%, crit damage increased by 10%, and if Blink was used, another 10% crit damage. Again, in order to make best use of this, she needs to be at high star rating, so she can get more turns, more actions, more extra skill uses. Either that, or you just keep spamming double action on her. Now, when it comes to her builds, again, I still do like the charge for the extra movement, better repositioning. This is going to be then followed by Blink, but at low stars, she does not have any energy to cast basically anything else, so she has to be carrying the Nova. The damage is still decent, the knockback is nice, but this is basically her only option. Alternatively, Light that breaks the night, she loses the charge, so you might want to either move her with a movement command or just let her stroll through, after which stagger for the AoE, blink, and then Nova for the actual damage. When it comes to the third skill, I do like Ciri's Candor. Again, against bound enemies, it's free crits, free 20% boost to damage. I don't think this one is going anywhere. I did try using Temporal Shift here and there, but I really didn't like this one. Alternatively, this should be the quote-unquote final build, charge plus flash that cuts through darkness, or at least this is something that should work better against single targets. The only problem is that she has to spend 7 energy in one turn in order to use both skills, which, mind you, is possible, and is possible without Tyr as well. So what happens here is that she starts the battle with 4 energy. By the time she hits 3 stars, using her charge basically only costs 1, and then she wants to consume 4 more. With meditation, thanks to Tyr, it should be possible to combo both at 3 stars, but otherwise 4 stars is when she really starts becoming usable. She still has to deal with a 2 turns cooldown though, which is not ideal, so I'm afraid maxing her out is really going to be the only choice. Speaking of, Zirael is going to be her best in slot weapon. After triggering teleportation or charge, the next attack or skill deals 50% increased damage, and this is just at 1 star. As you level this up, the damage goes up to 25%, and then she gets 2 extra lines here. Flash that cuts through darkness selects 1 more target, which is great, goes up to 4, and deals 25% additional damage. If she's using Nova, she knocks the targets back additionally 2 tiles and another 25% damage. Nova already knocks back target for 4 tiles. 6 tiles knockback might be a bit excessive, but she basically gets to the point where no one gets close to her. Not even other Seekers, just for how far she knocks targets back. The Zirael is the main weapon I want to try and get from the gacha, and that's almost exclusively due to the character release schedule. Again, Witcher Swords, Obsidian Star, and Flames of the Fearless should all end up in one weapon box the moment Ciri is released. So Ciri's weapon is going to have to wait for SP Meta and Parzival before it comes out. Alternatively, before we get the Zirael, Void Stab is always good. Void Stacks she should be able to get 3 per turn for free thanks to the Blink, and the alternatives are always the same. That's the very basic Newborn Blade, or in her case, since her stun, her stagger counts as an extra debuff, if you can run someone else to reach 3, an extra 25% crit damage on top of the guaranteed from her passive skill might actually help her out a lot in terms of dealing damage. Sadly, for the Blade of Stratagem, she's not going to make use of the extra 14% for outside of her turn, but 25% crit damage before she gets her own weapon don't also seem that bad. For the accessory, it's almost the same thing as Geralt, it's just that she has higher movement, she has a charge, she has many more chances to be away from her allies for over 3 tiles, so she should have a few more chances to have the 12% attack and defense active. Alternatively, there's another 8% physical attack from the Origin Hourglass, and then of course the Shield of Justice. When it comes to her tarot, it has to be Dreams of Magician. Charge does deal single target damage, so she only gets the 16% extra damage for this one, but Light That Breaks the Night, Nova, and Flash That Cuts to Darkness is all AoE damage. If you, like me, are running out of good magicians, cause what the hell is this? Almost every character wants it. I guess a Verdict of Justice for a 15% increase in crit damage isn't going to be all that bad, and then of course there's always the Temptation of the Devil. When it comes to leveling her up, there are some memory fragments down here in collection, 20 at level 10, which brings her to 2 stars, 30 at level 15, and 30 more at level 20, which brings her to 3 stars. Sadly, there's nothing else past this, so from 3 stars to 5 stars, you're going to have to farm for her. Unless you're maybe willing to spend a little bit of money, cause they've added the Otherworldly Journey here, costs 680, that's about 10 bucks, but once you reach level 50, the 680 are sent back to you. Otherworld Journey contains up to 50 more series memories, which puts you basically halfway there towards bringing her up to 4 stars. Honestly, it doesn't save that much time, but this one also has some extra alloys to level up your weapons, as well as casting molds to pool for said weapons. And after I'm done, I'm kind of planning to pick up the Alliance Summon Pack. Extra 5 casting mold as well as 20 total pools, which can be used on multiple banners. Doesn't seem like that bad of a deal. Let's try and push them a little bit. See how high these numbers go. I guess the one little bit of a shame is the fact that Ciri also moves before SP Inanna, so she doesn't get the co-attack and co-defense buffs. First turn, AoE stun.
Stand down.
37k, but again, this is the only thing that matters.
There's fight in me yet.
Little blink, and there's our AoE.
Coward.
Second turn, we can still give this to Ciri. Next turn, she's going to have 2 Novas available. Now, these are not exactly staggered anymore, they just have movement, speed, and vulnerable down, but since now she has the wing repose up, everything counts as bound. So she's still going to push, she's still going to deal quite a little bit of damage.
Coward.
240.
Stand down.
370, because that was the second skill, so the Ascension kicked in for even more damage. And this is a free character. How the hell is this a free character?
Appreciate it.
For a free unit, not to mention she's still just 1 star, so she has a lot of room to grow, Ciri seems to be really damn strong. And alright then, I guess that's going to be it for me for the moment. As always, thanks a lot for watching, make sure you build her up properly, and see you guys around soon. Ciao!
只懂路过。